This is the Voice of the Land podcast with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Sunday without football. Welcome on in to another edition of the Voice of the Land, a Big Play production, all on the Big Play Network and partnered with Web Streaming Studio by LPV Productions. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold, and I will be joined in just a moment by my brother across the table, Nick Paulus, and our producer extraordinaire behind that proverbial glass, Peter Tullup. Of course, you can always find us on social media. We go live every Sunday right around this time at 7 p.m., but you can always catch the show on replay on all those sites. Follow us at VTL_pod on Twitter and Instagram, and you can always catch the show there on Instagram, at Voice of the Land on Facebook, at Voice of the Land Podcast on YouTube. Maybe a TikTok coming soon. We don't know. It all depending on sponsorship. If we get one, you best believe we will get a TikTok and we will let you know all about that. You can always catch us also on the Big Play Network, as we mentioned, Big Play's Facebook page or their YouTube page at Big Play Live, and always on that Sportscaster app. And if you just want to listen to the audio, you don't want to see our faces, go ahead. After the show is done throughout the week, if you're listening right now and you're one of those diligent listeners, I will say, to Google, Spotify, Apple, the audio edition of podcast format of this show, we thank you so much for tuning in. We can't thank you enough there. We got to also thank our sponsor for Voice of the Land, DP Construction LLC. Reach out to them for all those concrete construction needs. Our buddy Tyler LaFrada and Uncle Steve will get you all hooked up. You can reach out to them by phone, 330-217-4999. That's 330-217-4999. Follow them on Facebook at DP Construction LLC. You can also message them there for a quote, and even reach out to Tyler by his email, tylerlafrada@gmail.com. As you can see all that contact information up on the screen. If you're listening to the audio, go ahead, and if you want to reach out to them, you got some concrete construction questions for them, go ahead, either tune into live or just reach out. All three avenues, they will get back to you quickly, and they will do a beautiful job if you check out their pictures on Facebook. As we said, this is the Voice of the Land, and we are here to talk Cleveland sports as we always do. But before we jump into everything, we know we got to talk Cavs. J.J. Watt watch, I guess, is still going on. Pitchers and catchers are down there in Goodyear, Arizona, and we got some fun topics to cover at the end. But before we get into everything, how's your Sunday been? How's your what is it, the second Sunday without football?
Yeah, second Sunday, yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
You're not having football out there. Other than that, not a terrible Sunday. Got a workout in, so that was fun. Got my ass kicked by Marvell, so thank you very much, Marvell, for that. But yeah, other than that, not a terrible Saturday. How about yours, Peter?
Geez, I don't know. What did I even do yesterday? I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think. I did something. I don't even know. So I had a long weekend, which was kind of nice. So on Friday, I took the day off because I had to go renew my drone license because it's been 4 years already.
Wow.
Since I've done that. So every 2 years you got to renew it. So happy to say I passed with flying colors. So
there you go.
I can fly my drone legally, and so if you need some drone video or pictures, hit me up, and we can take care of that for you.
There we go.
All nice and legal. Keep those FAA fines away from you.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, it's been an okay Sunday. It's been just a nice, kind of went down to visit the future in-laws, but not in the best of terms, I guess you would say. Got to visit with them this weekend, but
okay.
I just want to send my best always for their hospitality,
sure,
and everything they do, and with everything kind of going on down there right now with the family. I just always want to send my best. Our prayers from the Voice of the Land. We're always thinking about you guys, to the Fence to Maker, Hyde, McGrew, extended family. I could get into all the extended tree,
right.
But, just that extended family, we want to give you our best, our prayers, everything out to all of our best wishes that we can. And thank you so much for what you do for me always when I come down to visit with my fiance, future Mrs. Arnold.
There you go.
It's the first time I heard that out loud.
First time?
First time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Has a nice ring to it, right?
It does. She got a nice ring too. So
There you go.
but we are going to jump in here to talking about the Cavs. They are going to play tonight against.
I guess we got to talk about them.
I guess we do.
Yeah.
They're going to play against the Thunder tonight. But I did see that Kelly, your wife, came in tonight, and she's sporting the Voice of the Land T-shirt back there. And
She is in the peanut gallery. Yeah.
I was going to call it the audience. I wasn't. But
yeah.
She has good taste today.
Right.
Oh, Peter's got it on
Peter's
too.
rocking it too. Yeah.
If only he had a camera on him where all of you
I know.
could see that. I
One
just,
of these days.
One of these days. I mean, I decided to kind of harken back to some better Cavs times with a little block.
That gives me a little bit of promise and hope, and
Brings a good-
just rejoiced in the past glory.
Brings a good aura to the show, right?
It does.
But if you want some Voice of the Land gear, you watch us, you tune into the audio, go ahead and reach out to us, voiceoftheland.com and / or / which one is it?
I think it's / shop. But there's a link right on the front page, and we've got cups and shirts, and
We got them all.
we got.
Yeah, we
we don't have hats yet because I got to figure that
No
out
hats.
because the embroidery I guess is a little tricky.
What's
Oh.
like your dream wish of like to have our faces on something?
I mean, mine's
What would be cool?
a hat because I mean you got the
A hat?
because then
Sure.
you got the traditional look because I got my hat on backwards, you got
Right.
yours on forwards. I
I
need
like that.
I need a flat brim snapback version though.
Peter.
I think the hat would be pretty cool. I mean, really, I don't know how easy that would be to do.
Well, I'm going to go off brand a little bit. I want a robe.
You want a robe?
I want a robe.
Ooh.
Yeah, Voice of the Land robe. Maybe
That's fancy.
Christmas present. Future Christmas present. I don't know how you're going to do that, Kelly, but
I mean, if we're
good
going
luck
down
with that.
we're going down
But-
that road. I'll
yeah.
take a tracksuit.
Right. See, a track.
I'll take the full thing.
Tracksuit.
I'll take
I
the
love
full
it.
thing, and we
I
got like
love
the
it, yeah.
got the big picture on the back, got a little patch here on the left.
Absolutely.
You
Are we
know?
talking like a velour tracksuit?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
We're going all.
I
Peter,
mean-
if we're making this stuff, we're going to go all out for this.
yeah.
I mean, I think a billboard would be cool. I'd like to see our faces on a
Billboard.
billboard.
Do you know how crazy expensive billboards are?
Oh yeah.
They are. It's crazy for like 30 days, depending on where they're at and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They get up to like $5,000 to $10,000 for like 30 days. Ah,
I'll pay for like one little
I was
bottom
gonna
corner
say.
square. The rest can
I
be
got
whatever
about
it is.
$50 in this project.
what a lot of
We'll
people
put it up
don't
there
re-
on like a McDonald's Voice of the Land McDonald's. Right
What
there.
a lot of people don't realize, and now that I'm thinking about this, is in the parking lot outside, there's a billboard truck.
My God,
That's right.
let's just put our mugs on that thing and drive it around town. There
I'm,
we go.
I'm gonna make a call tomorrow.
Wait, see there, Peter's next level
Yeah, there
thinking.
we go.
Next level right there. Awesome.
The Cavs are not next level thinking right
No,
now.
Great segue.
They are not next level thinking right now, and Cavs are struggling. They're 10-18, 10-19 at this point. They've lost. I lost count of how many in a row, and we talked about it last week because of the Andre Drummond situation, because they had just talked about how he's not going to play until they can find a trade partner, or they have to basically cut ties with him and waive him where he can go sign with any team. But as you look at these last few games, as he hasn't played, nothing has really changed. So, as our title says, Cavs, and I'll throw this to you first, Paulus.
Yeah.
Cavs, what the hell is going on?
You know what? We talked about this yesterday on ESPN Cleveland Overtime. Little trying to do a little show on Saturdays now. They're opening up the checkbook a little bit there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see how that goes. But we talked about that yesterday, and Chris Oldak, he was talking about the possibility of like putting blame. You have to blame someone. At this point in time, you're 10-20, 10-21. You've lost 9 straight games. You got to put the blame somewhere. He was trying to put the blame on Kobe Altman. And like the one fault that I have with Kobe is having Kevin Love sign that egregious contract. Okay. Like I am all for blaming Kobe Altman for that because you didn't need that to be done. Okay. And we knew Kevin's track history of what's going on. If you knew you were going to start tanking, just go full on tank mode at that point in time. Getting past that, that's been about 2 years now, two and a half years, whatever it's been. The last 2 years, I don't know if I want to blame Kobe though for all of that sort of stuff. Tell me you wouldn't do these trades. Tell me you wouldn't have traded to get Andre Drummond for literally nothing.
Right.
You know, literally you gave up like a second round pick and 2 scrubs, okay, to get Andre Drummond. Now, it's a pretty big contract coming back, but what happens whenever you got Andre and then you made the switch to JB Bickerstaff at the end of last year? You start winning games. They went 500. You and I, we were talking about it. You know, maybe give them the opportunity in the bubble to see what they can do, and and kind of go from there. They were 500 with JB going into this coming up season. They got their season canceled due to COVID, and then they jump right back into it, and they start off hot. Okay. And then you get a massive trade is about to happen in the NBA, and the Brooklyn Nets need a third party to take off some contract. Okay. So then they contact the Cavs and go, hey, do you guys want Jared Allen? For literally nothing. It's like, yeah, absolutely. We'll take him. You take him. So obviously, to me, you're going to do those contracts. And at that point in time, you were like in 4th place in the East, and you had just beaten, or well, you in a couple of days, you beat the Nets back-to-back games. Okay. The issue is as soon as that trade happened, I think they're like 4-12 since that trade happened now. Okay.
Yeah.
Feelings got hurt on that team. The players are who I'm going to blame. Okay, if you had to blame one person,
I was going to ask you, and I was going to kind of throw it around the table too, to look at this in 2 angles.
Right.
Is there a person or a group on the team that you blame the most?
It's the group, because the players, they got their feelings hurt. They got to the point of like, hey, we're 4th place in the East, and you're making trades, to bring in someone that's going to replace Andre Drummond in the first place. And Andre was playing great. If we all remember, a month and a half ago, Andre was playing really solid. A lot of people were like, hey, he might be an all-star. He might be an all-star, kind of guy. But as soon as the feelings got hurt and people started questioning their position on the team, along with the Kevin Porter Jr. stuff, everyone started questioning what's going on. They're walking on eggshells, and you can't play any team sport like that. Whenever that happens, a lot of bad things start happening, and that's exactly what's happening. We were like number 1 or number 2 defensively ranked,
Yeah.
for the first, couple of games of the year, whenever we were in 4th place. We have a net rating of offense and defense 30th. That's dead last in the league, folks. We are 30th on offense and 29th on defense. The only worst defense in the league is Dallas. Like, you can't survive doing this. And it's because the players got their feelings hurt. And now you have to do this whole Andre needs to sit because we know he's not going to be playing now. But people are still walking on eggshells. I don't know what they can do to fix this, because like the players just aren't listening to JB. And I think you and I are both in agreement. JB Bickerstaff should not be blamed at all. At least my opinion of it. I understand he's trying to mix up a lot of things right now, but like if the players just aren't playing defense, which is all effort, I don't know what else you can say or do.
That's where I'll disagree.
Okay.
Is that
okay?
I can place blame on JB Bickerstaff. I'm not placing all of it.
Right.
Now on Friday,
you're not firing him.
I'm not firing him, but Coach Kev is gonna.
You gonna give him a warning shot?
Coach Kev hasn't come out for a long time.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
Let's
break it open.
Warm things up a little bit here in Coach Kev's corner. Listen, I understand that this Cavs team is going through a lot of different things.
Sure.
And Kobe's having to juggle a lot, and the team is dealing with a bunch of injuries. So as that started to happen, even though they started out hot and you saw what this team could potentially be with everybody there and in the right position, now everybody's jumping around and getting in different positions. It still was kind of on the right track. You get those 2 wins against the Nets, and you make that trade, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, in hindsight, Kobe gets some blame. I don't want to put a negative spin on that, but what you said, signing that Kevin Love deal and some of these other deals with the team, like you can't get rid of contracts because there's so much left in them and there's so much money. teams don't want those contracts.
Agreed.
That's how the business works. It's so difficult, and you can't get Kevin Love on the floor. You can't get some of these guys. Some of these guys aren't on the floor ever.
I don't even view Kevin Love as a part of this team. Like, I know he's practicing now, and God bless him, but like, I don't view him as even a part of this team.
But you're gonna see that like his comeback delayed even more now because of where this team is now at, how deep they have gone from where they started. It does come down to the players too, because it's one thing, we talked about this last week, and we talk about this all the time, and I can't stand harping on it, but I'm going to as long as I need to. You can't coach, you can coach effort, you can't coach talent. So if it's talent that wins out each night, and they've gone through a stretch where they've faced some of the better teams in the NBA this season.
It was a hell of a West Coast stretch. It really was.
Right. And you know what kind of a battle it is to win the Western Conference every single year. Even in that bubble down there.
Right.
It was, the Nuggets came on down there. I know the Clippers did what they typically do, but you got a bunch of teams. Utah Jazz, Jordan Clarkson, who we used to have, is probably going to be the sixth man of the year for Utah. That's almost sewn up out there. So you know how difficult that is, but it's one thing if, the game is kind of that 6 to 8 point range for a while, because you're giving, like, that effort is always there. It's that culture that you're establishing. And that brings me to why I place some blame on JB Bickerstaff. Young team, injuries, get it.
Yeah.
But if the culture is strong enough, the effort is going to be there. I don't know that the record would be much better. And if I heard a conversation driving home one day from work about, well, this team probably wouldn't even be much better with a Phil Jackson or Larry Brown or some of the great coaches of all time.
Right.
I think it would be, not by many games, but I think it would be because they are coaches that were able to establish a culture.
So let's think of some of the better coaches in the league. Right. Let's say Steve Kerr.
Right.
Okay. That probably top 3 coach in the league right now. Going in the league right now. Where do you think that this Cavs team at 10-20, I believe, correct? 10-20 sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think that they would be right now with Steve Kerr? Just swap out coaches right now.
Probably, I would give them 2 or 3 more wins because Steve Kerr took over already.
So still out of the playoffs.
Still out of the playoffs. I'm not saying that these great coaches would have them in the playoff picture.
Right.
But it's the effort that you're not seeing. As a Cavs fan, as the basketball fan that you guys and everybody that tunes in all the time knows that I am,
yeah,
it is so difficult to watch this team because there's always that one game here or there throughout a season where, guys lose interest. There's just nothing out there, and you're going to get blown out.
Any team that goes to Miami, they're going out to the clubs, they're partying it up down there. You know it's going to be a bad night if you go down to Miami.
Man, imagine if there was a team in Vegas.
That'd be pretty bad.
Because LA is even, can bring that, but not as much as Miami. It's Miami and Vegas.
Well, LA is fantastic as well.
It's just hard to get around.
But I think you're right. If Vegas after COVID is going to blow up, obviously.
So
the Raiders, I don't know how you're going to win a home game. Honestly, might be the best home field advantage that you get is getting all these players coming in, going to the casinos and strip clubs and everything like that out in Vegas. So might be their best home field advantage.
Yeah, how many actual Raiders fans will be in that stadium though? Because
Raiders fans travel because they've moved around so much.
Yeah.
Now they are out of the state of California where they originally were from. So that does make it a little bit more difficult, but the silver and black always travels. That's a fact.
They do. And we know Cleveland fans travel too. So, we could always,
World's team.
World's team. But it's so hard to watch this team because those one-off games that I'm talking about, they've had several in this stretch of 9 losses in a row. And that cannot happen even if this year isn't a year that you make the playoffs and you start building, trying to learn how to win on bigger stages. If that's not quite this year, if the culture isn't there, we got into a heated debate about Ohio State, about the habits that were being established while they were still winning.
Yeah.
The bad habits that still came back to haunt them throughout the year. This team is still being haunted by the same issues, not playing defense well, turning the ball over,
Yeah.
teams getting a lead on them, and them just kind of giving up. And until you get to that, really the back end of the roster, because you've already had to bring up guys from the G League,
Yeah.
you see these games that are getting unwatchable to the point of 38, 40 point deficits. Like, that's not good basketball. Again, I know it always, sometimes when I get into my coach mode and
Right.
that coach's hat comes on my head, I know that it sometimes seems like I'm asking my teams, my coaches to be perfect. I'm not looking for that. I understand the realism of where this team is at and what they actually could compete for this year should everything gone how the start of the season was and they were in more of a consistent route and had more consistent players
Yeah.
available to them. But you still got to bring the energy, the effort, and the heart, because those things can be coached. And especially with a young group that are impressionable and they don't know any better,
Right.
that's the best kind of group to get in the NBA to establish your coaching culture. And if you can't do that with that group, you're going to have a very hard time establishing yourself as a head coach in the league. JB's always been a good assistant coach. I'm not saying fire him. I'm not saying we need to get rid of him. But a reset button is needed, and I hope that, as they kind of get into the stretch of some teams more on their level, they can find a rhythm because they had several practice days in a row. I'm hoping we see that sort of reset button soon where he says, look, fellas, we know where we're at. We know what kind of injuries we're dealing with. I know everything that's going on off the court right now. We still got basketball games to go play. You guys tell me you want to be about winning. I've told you we want to be about winning.
Right.
If we're going to be honest with each other and actually live up to what we have told each other, we need to go out on the floor and get the job done. If our best isn't good enough that night, well, we better figure out how to improve upon our best. But we live with that result, knowing we gave our best that night, learn from it, add more to our game, and go from there.
At this point in time, we just need a win.
Yeah.
Like you need a win to break this spell. And as we're talking right now, they are in the first quarter here for us. Cavaliers are leading 22-15 against the Thunder.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Right.
Like, just get a win, get out of here. And because you only have, after this game, you only have 5 games left, in the first half of the season, and then they're going to come out with the second half schedule and kind of go from there. But yeah, I mean, you have winnable games. I mean, you have the Hawks at home, you have the Rockets at home. You got to go to Philly, so that one's a tougher one. And then you have at the Rockets, and then you end up with the Pacers at home. I see at least 2 or 3 winnable games right there.
Right.
Okay, so out of those 5 games, just try and get 1 or 2 wins. Because if you go into the half with a 15-game losing streak, that is bad. That is bad juju right there. So try to just get a win, palate cleanse, hit the All-Star break, have a week off, and then just reboot from there. I do think that they do need to trade Andre here before the second half starts up.
I think the trade deadline is March 1st.
So I thought it was like in the middle of March.
Maybe it's within those first couple weeks at least.
Either way, I think that you need to trade him All-Star break or before. Okay, and just get it done out of the way. And hopefully that might be a part of the reboot culture setting that you're talking about. Right. Maybe just, once again, I just think these guys just need a win, to win and get it out of their minds, because they've lost 9 straight games, which is 3 weeks worth of almost a month's worth of games. And at this point in time, you just need that palate cleanser.
Yeah, the deadline is the 25th.
Oh, wow.
March 20th. Okay,
yeah,
so
day before it turned 30.
Well, there you go. So that's what we need, though. We need that just to be done and over with. That's what we need.
I'll take some big basketball headlines were around my
Right.
birthday.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a great.
Andre Drummond for a top 60 protected pick. There you go. You know,
The day after my birthday.
Hey,
well, hey, there we go. Birthday boys.
hey, I mean,
My wife's birthday is the 28th, correct? Just making sure.
asking. That's never.
Obviously, I knew
yeah.
it, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go over that. I'm
Maybe.
not going down that road of asking through the microphone right now. I know that she might be listening or she's taking a nap after our long trip this week, but I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna take the chance. Not taking the chance. But I mean, you said they need at least a win. The Cavs need a win.
Just palate cleanse. Yeah.
They're up right now in the first quarter. I'm not saying that they would win because they win the first quarter, but
Right.
they need to see a lead after a quarter or a half up on that scoreboard
feel
because
good.
by half number 2, the games are mostly over. They're unwatchable.
Yeah.
God, I hope we get some big storylines around the league around that time. That'd be because it can't go anywhere for your birthday. So you know,
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
you know,
Again.
So yeah, that's right.
Right.
I forgot.
Well,
yeah.
You guys are double dipping on
yeah.
the COVID aspect. yeah.
Joe's birthday is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
So he was supposed to have a big.
Well,
he
I
was
mean,
supposed
we
to have,
say
yeah.
oh, but it's not like he's
Yeah.
able to drink for.
No.
He's got a few
Oh,
years.
man.
Well, he was supposed to have his big birthday party. He wanted all his friends. Birthday party.
Sure. Yeah.
We had everything like booked and everything.
Oh yeah.
And he had his friend's party March 13th, that Friday. That was their first day of spring break. He went to his
Yep.
friend's party. Everything shut down.
Yep.
So, I mean, we postponed. Now it's like,
Man.
well, dude,
Well,
you're going on year 2.
we keep telling because like I said, Kelly's birthday is the March 28th, and we keep telling her that it's just delaying her birthday. So like she'll be 30 this year as well, and it's at that point in
30s,
time.
30s. Let's go.
At this point in time, we're just like, well, you're still 28. Yeah, like you still haven't had your 29th
right.
birthday.
Didn't count. I
So,
see, yeah,
right,
I
yeah.
see
So
that.
you're
I got-
still technically 28.
I got 2
for
years
a couple of
birthdays
years
to catch up.
Exactly,
I like
right?
It.
That's a lot of cake. That
Soon.
I'm down.
Well, I will not be 30, so.
Let's just say we'll just leave it right.
31. 31.
Yeah,
How about that?
And then some.
You know the look your wife gave me when I said 30, 30.
Oh yeah.
That's how I really feel. I was like trying to get some good energy.
Yeah,
in
get some
here.
uplifting energy. Yeah,
no.
Well,
Well,
crazy. I just fed her, so
well, speaking of some uneasy feelings, I know that you kind of posed this question to the group, but as if you were to take Dan Gilbert's shoes or
Yeah.
even be the owner of this team, just real quick, what is your plan right now, seeing where this team is at and what it's gone through since LeBron left again, and trying to build a team without once in a generation type player, because you know it's going to be a long time
Yeah.
before the Cavs get that opportunity to have that type of guy playing for them again. What is your plan of attack? What are you telling your front office executives
Sure.
and the guys or even the coaches and the guys on the team?
if I'm Dan, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because Dan runs this whole show, okay. I mean, nothing good's past Dan. If I'm in Dan's shoes, I would go and tell everyone, like, you are safe. Kobe and JB, you are safe. I'm not going to threaten to fire you. I know I pulled the trigger, pretty quick a lot of times in the past, but you guys are safe. Because once again, I believe Kobe can be a really solid GM in this league. We need to give him a little bit more time to work out some stuff. I understand the Kevin Love deal did not work out. I understand Darius Garland has not worked out right now. Okay. Dylan Windler, whatever, but you had KPJ and he looked like a stud. So, you can identify talent.
Right.
Okay. It's just unfortunate KPJ had some issues and we did everything possible to work it out.
Wouldn't do anything.
Just wasn't working. And now he's balling out in the G League down
He
in
is.
Houston.
Yeah, he is.
You're averaging 35 and a night down there, whatever.
With all their issues, he'll be up to the Rockets in no time.
No doubt he will. And he's going to be, he'll be a pro down there. He'll
Yeah, he
be a
will.
good,
He will.
He'll be a really solid bench player starting off, and hell, maybe a starter eventually.
Keep the head on straight and you can.
No doubt. He has the talent. That being said, once again, I'm letting all the guys know, like, hey, you guys are safe, but we do need to make the trade. I don't care for what you make the trade to get Andre Drummond out of here. And once again, Andre has been nothing but professional. And we are thankful for that. But Andre, the best thing for you, where do you want to go? Like, I don't care. Give me a second round pick in 2023. Like just give me something.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be anything. Just I need you off the books. I need you out of here. And once again, if you can find any way to get Kevin Love out of here as well, do it. I know there's no ill will towards Kevin. He's probably beloved on the team, but you know what? Like if you can't get out there, what's your best ability?
Your availability.
That's right. If you can't be out there, I'm sorry, we don't need you on this team, and you're still owed like $60 million. Get anything for those guys. You're not going to get much. I get that. But you do need the palate cleanser, okay? And you just need to keep tanking. At this point in time, I'm sorry, it is what it is. Hopefully you get better than the 5th pick in the draft. If you have the worst odds in the NBA, I understand the way that the lotto system is now. It's completely different. It's not rigged like it used to be, where you could just be dead last and get a top 2 or 3 pick. Okay, that's not happening. Apparently this draft is supposed to be really damn good. Okay, I don't want to miss out on that. I understand, like, just go full tank mode. Let everyone know you're safe. But if you don't start producing next year, that's when we're going to have some issues. I understand it right now, but after this year, like you better start producing.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Peter, I know we haven't apologized. We haven't gotten you on the topic either, but is there kind of one angle that you see that one stance an owner could take in terms of Dan Gilbert, even just owning a basketball team for a young team like this to kind of get the message across the board? What is our mission statement? What should the owner be saying?
See, that's a good question because honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think, right now, I would like to see a few wins, but you really want to establish. We talked about it before, the culture. We want to establish a culture, and I think the problem is when you have young players that aren't listening. Going in, firing the head coach, that shakes things up,
Right.
but that screws the culture. You have no culture then. It's just churn. I mean, even in the championship year we went through coaches, that's not I don't think that's a good sign. If you have faith in this coaching staff, you stick with them. I think you're right. You trade, you get whatever you can. I mean, I love Kevin Love, but he's not doing anything for us. And Drummond, if we get anything for him, great. Let's clear some space. I hate to say it because the idea of tanking, but it's not like this team's not gonna catch fire and blaze through the freaking playoffs, right?
It won't.
No.
So unfortunately, the lottery is not as good as it used to be, but
Sure.
if we can get something and build around that, I mean, I don't know. I can't see any great answer of what you should do,
No.
but I don't think you should throw out the coaching staff again and just perpetually start over and over and over. We'll never have a culture.
Firing the coaching staff is the exact opposite of what this team needs to do, because I know these players love JB Bickerstaff, and just so anybody that's watching us and not watching the Cavs game, they are now losing at the end of the first, 31-28 to Oklahoma
Well,
City
it was
Thunder.
nice.
It was nice.
It was nice for a while.
The lead was nice while it lasted. Couldn't even get to the first quarter. Dang it.
Damn it.
But it's not. The answer isn't firing JB Bickerstaff, because while these players like the coach, sometimes when you fire a coach, then the players that don't like the coach, they feel like, okay, now, like if I act this way and I don't like the guy, like they'll just get rid of him. But I'm still here. I'm still getting paid. The coaches, they're getting let go until we find the coach that maybe we like, or at least the blame is being put all on JB Bickerstaff. While I am willing to put some blame on him when others are saying they're not, and I understand why they're saying
He does deserve some blame, but like if we're looking at a pie chart of blame game, I'm going like probably 20% like Kobe. I'm probably going 10% JB, and then the rest of it, 70% of it is all on the players.
My percentages might be higher, but by like minuscule numbers, small numbers,
Yeah.
But anybody that's saying it's all on JB, you're that's not right.
Agreed.
Anybody that's saying it's not on JB at all, there is some blame that needs to be put there. But to put it all on the coach by firing them, then that also enables the players in a player-driven league. As the owner, it really comes down to trying to, and for Dan Gilbert, for what he's been able to have as part of his tenure as owner of the Cavs, trying to build this team from the ground up instead of having that once-in-a-generation player that can solve a lot of issues that you may have and can get you to the playoffs and a deep run in the playoffs most often, if not to the finals. It's taking a step back, looking at the full landscape of what the league is and how in the type of team that you have now, how do those teams climb out of it? Mm-hmm. And you can climb out of it within a couple of years. You don't have to be in this spot for a long time, but you can if you're naive to the fact that of what kind of status your team is, how close you are to competing for something in this league. So as the owner of a basketball team, when you're in this position, and for Dan Gilbert, it's taking a step back, looking yourself in the mirror, figuring out what works best, then creating one mission statement for the rest of the team and helping to establish one culture where everyone is on the same page. I forget the terminology. What did the Browns say it was? It was when they were all on the same page. I forget what it was, like this common phrase that people were using kind of going into the off season, and I can't remember what it was.
I can't.
You know what I'm talking about though? They were alignment. That's what it was.
The alignment.
The alignment.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, as much as that, like, it kind of came off cliche until we saw it produced on the field. It's true. You got to have everybody on the same page from owner all the way down. So it's starting that alignment and making sure everyone is on that page so that the culture has an environment to develop and go from there. That's where this Cavs team is. We could go all night on this, but it's a topic that brings the mood all the way down. That's why I'm wearing the block shirt tonight. If we want to know from you guys, though, throughout the week, as you're watching this show, who do you place blame on for where the Cavs are at, and how do they climb out of this? What is the right steps for this team? Is it tanking? Is it trying to get back on the competing route this season or by next season? Is it the lottery? What is it? We want to know. Reach out to us at VTL_pod, at CLE_Paulus, at Kevin7, and at LPV Productions. And, we'll have some conversations with you throughout the week, and maybe, some good conversations we may have. We'll talk about them next week on the show as well. From one team that doesn't seem like they're aligned to one that is, quickly, the J.J. Watt watch is still going on.
Watt watch.
Are you guys interested in this still? Because I'm not. I'm just going to drop the bomb right now. If he comes, that's great.
That's what she said.
Dang it. I've always been trying to avoid one of those statements.
It was perfect.
Yes, it was.
There we go. Okay, I'm sorry.
Softball
Please
right
continue.
over.
Yeah. All right.
Teed it up.
Moving on. That's tough to transition out of, too.
That was pretty good.
But if J.J. Watt were to sign with the Browns, I'm not you want J.J. Watt on this team because of what we've broken that down as much as we can.
Yeah.
But the whole, kind of scrolling through Twitter, how Cleveland fans have always done, like, some big move is rumored. Is it happening? Is it happening? Let me keep scrolling. Oh, someone said it could happen by today. Let me keep scrolling.
Right.
Dang it, didn't happen today. Wake up in the morning. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling.
Watch again. Watch day 59. Right.
I used to be one of those people.
Yeah.
With this, I'm not. Where are you at?
I'm still intrigued. I'm still intrigued. I mean, he's leaving out breadcrumbs now.
Mm-hmm.
He posted a picture of his dogs.
Yeah.
And said here in the new city or something like that. Whatever.
Which I think is Chicago, because his wife does play for the professional team out there in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And they do a lot of national team stuff because she's a soccer player, so they do a lot of national team stuff in Chicago. It's either Chicago or New York. I don't know.
Right. Wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, I'm still intrigued. I still think that, one of the best spots, a top 5 spot for him would be to sign with the Browns. More than the Steelers. I mean, Ravens don't have any money whatsoever. I think that we're the best in our division for that, for sure. I think the best overall place, and the place that he is going to sign with eventually, will be the Packers. The writing's on the wall. They cut Christian Kirksey the other day. I
gotta look at the Packers fan.
I know
here,
Packers fan in the back. My wife. But I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna sign with them. I mean, they were a bad couple of calls away from being in the Super Bowl. And I think that they probably would have beat the Kansas City Chiefs the way that Tom Brady, played. Aaron Rodgers could have played like that too. So,
Right.
I think that he would have beat that. And then their defense is still solid, not great, but, if you add J.J. Watt to that team, that's, once again, the Smith brothers and J.J. Watt. Yeah, absolutely. Go for that. I would love to see him sign here, but watch. I'm still intrigued. This time next week probably won't be, but I think it gets done this week. I think he eventually signs this week, and once again, I think it's going to be the Packers.
Peter, are you hitting refresh on social media constantly, or
No.
are you over
No.
this?
No.
Not at all.
I'm not. It would be great if he came here. Like I said last week, I don't think we need J.J. Watt. We need a player like J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
If the Browns are able to sign him, if he comes here and if he can produce, that's awesome. I'll be happy if he signs here. I'm not holding my breath, and I'm not on pins and needles waiting for it to happen.
Right.
If it happens, I'll be happy. If it doesn't, it's really not going to change anything for me.
Now, he did state that I think there were like 3 things that he wanted out of, the teams that he's looking at. He wants a quarterback, playing time, and then money, or Super Bowl caliber team. Or do you remember what it
Yeah,
was?
I think it was Jake Trotter, and he said besides being on a Super Bowl contending
Okay,
team.
besides that, okay,
It was QB. It was what was the second thing that you said?
I
Money?
thought money was third.
Mo-
I know money was third.
money was third.
Playing time, maybe
Maybe.
it was one of those.
Yeah.
But you look at the everything that we have. Okay, if you want to say quarterback, I know a lot of people out there. Oh, Baker's not Baker's not the guy. I'd rather go play with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is great. Okay, cool. But Baker did look great the last 8 to 10 games
Right.
of the year. Went 20-2, touchdown to interception ratio. So he looked phenomenal. So you figure if you bring that in, then you go opposite of Miles, and then we can offer you the most money because I believe we have the highest cap room in the league, or one of
Right.
them. Go from there. I know last week we were saying that we don't want to pay the moon for him. But we can justify it because we have more money than everyone else. So if you have to overspend a little bit to get him, okay, cool. But I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's going to Green Bay to sign a minimum contract in order for that to happen. I understand Green Bay might be a better overall situation, for JJ, but our quarterback's solid. The opposite of Miles is like heaven on earth. And then, and then you have the money situation. So once again, I think we're in the mix for it for
Oh
sure.
yeah. I know Cleveland.com reported again today that
Still in it, right?
Browns are still in it. If he goes to the Packers, I know they've already started to clear cap space. I think they waived Christian Kirksey, former linebacker here.
Kirksey and someone else, like a backup lineman or something.
Yeah. Someone asked me this weekend, while I was with the in-laws, I'll just call them the in-laws now.
Yeah, sure.
We're at that point.
Might as well, right.
We've been at that point for a long time. So
She accepted the ring. She
Yeah,
accepted the proposal.
yeah.
They're in-laws now. Yeah.
So someone asked me this weekend because they saw that Kersey got let go. Would you bring him back? Because we need linebacker help. And I said, I'd think about it, but he was more available to the Packers than he ever was to us, this year than he ever was to us for the last several years. So while he has talent and can add something to that linebacker room, he's never available. Just like Kevin Love's never available. Doesn't seem to be available for our Cleveland team.
Right.
So that's always a difficult thing to ask. Chris Golian65 tweeted at us and said that Watt to the Colts. They just got Carson Wentz. They made that trade to get Carson Wentz.
Now, I don't know their money situation.
Right.
They're not paying Carson the $33 million that they were expected to. The Eagles are eating all of that. First off, Eagles. Whoa. God, that dumpster fire of all dumpster fires, owing $33 million to a guy that's not even playing on your team. He's playing for another team. Blows my mind.
We know a lot about paying guys that aren't here.
Largest cap hit in NFL history for a player playing for another, whatever.
We feel you, Philly.
Yeah, well, Philly, yeah, no, we feel you for sure. But if I'm Philly, if I'm Philly fans, and I know a couple of them, I understand you guys are bitter right now, but you won your Super Bowl. Okay. You know what? You can live in the seventh layer of hell for a little bit. You know, if we won a Super Bowl and then we immediately sucked 3 years later, like I'm probably good for another 10, 20, because you know what? I got that Super Bowl win that I can lean my hat on. And you do.
That's a championship hangover or honeymoon phase that wouldn't go away for a while.
Oh,
People
no.
talk about the Cavs
Right.
honeymoon phase like that, you know, they're not
We've
past
sucked
that.
for 20 years.
Yeah.
Give me a Super Bowl. I'll suck for another 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
So people can stop saying we haven't been to a Super Bowl
Right.
and we don't have a Lombardi trophy.
Exactly.
At least we got one.
Yeah.
Of course, if we get one, then you know our standards are going to go even.
Well, of
Even-
course.
even higher.
You look at the Cavs, you know, whenever
Right.
they won it and then they went to the finals the next 2 years, and you're like, okay, we got to win
Right.
one of these games. Yeah. Or one of these series.
Right. But Indy's got some good players in that squad that, you know, kind
They do.
of going
It's a
towards
solid team.
going to the other side of their career though too. So they're trying with Phillip Rivers last year and now Carson Wentz, a younger guy this year. They're trying to get that next step. Philly can definitely live on that Super Bowl though, because
Sure.
they got it. Not just got a Super Bowl, they got one during the era of Tom Brady where he has won 7 out of 10 appearances
Right.
and has 7 Super Bowl championships and throwing them between boats. You know, so. If we got that in Cleveland, like you said, we would love that there. But in terms of Watt to the Browns and the whole conversation, you want to know how disinterested I am at this point?
How's that?
So pitchers and catchers reported to. I mean, I love the Indians. I do.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like I'm really.
Did you see Frankie suit up for the Mets? He looks
did.
good.
He did.
He looks good.
He does. I mean, Frankie's a baller. Frankie's
He
a
is.
ball player. And as difficult as this offseason has been for Indians fans, when pitchers and catchers report, it's still a great time.
Sure.
It's still
yeah, of course.
good to see. I know Shane Bieber was dealing with COVID, but he's with the team now. Thoughts out to, of course, Tito. He's dealing with he's had some health issues throughout the year. Staph infection, and he's in a boot. They got him. Did you see the golf cart that they got him to drive around Arizona?
I haven't, no.
Because he left the scooter in Cleveland since he can't, he's got the boot on and everything. He's on crutches. They got him this golf cart, and they've got like images with his face plastered on other images. It's like him on Prince's body, and
That's great.
There's like all these funny memes all over.
Yeah.
And the Indians tweeted that out today. So, it's still a good organization. That's the toughest part is to see a team that's right now I believe below $40 million in payroll.
Right.
It's like you still got such great people there. You have the man, like one of the best managers ever, and you got a great front office. It's where are you at? Because with pitchers and catchers just reporting, and we'll probably get some guests on to talk as the season gets closer to kind of give us. And I know that they restructured the whole minor league system too.
Right.
But just pitchers and catchers reporting, does it give you the same excitement as it has in the past?
Sure. I'm always down for pitchers and catchers. I am always down. As soon as spring training happens, I'm going to catch. Hopefully, they have them on. It's not STO anymore. Like whatever, wherever you can find it, I'm going to try and find it. Okay, and I'm going to watch some of their spring training. I don't know any of these players. I kind of feel like Major League. Like, isn't this guy dead? We'll cross him off the list. I'm expecting to see a lineup out there like that. I think Chris Antonetti was asked the other day, like, do you guys think that you can still, make the playoffs? Like, how good, do you think that you guys are still going to be really good? Well, yeah, we have Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez. Okay, do you have an outfield? Do you have the rest of the infield? I don't know. Like there's a lot of issues going on. Tito, you always have a chance as long as you have him, in the dugout. So hopefully, he helps out. But I don't know. There's a lot of really big question marks out there. I know Fangraphs, I think, set the over-under for the Indians at 81.5.
Yeah.
And then there was a separate one. I wish I knew it, but it was a 17% chance of making the playoffs. Okay. What do you think is more likely to happen?
Peter, over under 81.5.
Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
81
think
and a
they'll
half.
go over.
Okay, so an over 500 team.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are they still playing 162? Because the
yeah,
players,
I believe so.
and that's why they reported now. Because
I believe so. Yeah, it
because-
might be 152 or 160. It's one or the other.
Okay. I want to say over. I'm gonna say under. Because
Yeah.
if it's 162, 81 is 500. 81 and 81.
And that's I think they're assuming, that it's
So,
162.
I'm just gonna assume that they are assuming 162 and putting it like just over 500.
Yeah.
I would have to take the under because I'm putting them
Same.
right at 500.
I'm a little under 500
Okay.
for it. So yeah, I mean, I could
Yeah.
say 79 and
Yeah.
83, like whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do for that. But I think that they are going to be under. I mean, Shane Bieber is still a beast. I get it. The playoffs, that playoff game sort of hurt a little bit, but first time in the playoffs, you're going to have, issues like that.
Right.
You're going to have butterflies. So I get that. I'm not going to hold that against the guy. But once again, you have Jose, and who? Like I know we just signed Eddie Rosario.
Yes.
Okay, so great. I mean, he's killed us in the past.
Hope he does. Hope he gets a little of that Indians.
That Indians fever. That's
Yes.
what we need. That's what we need. But
Indians fever. Am I allowed to sing that on here?
yeah,
Sure.
sure. Why
Okay,
not?
yeah. Oh yeah, Indians fever. Be up. I'm not gonna go any further.
Great though. Pitch perfect.
Yeah, that was
Oh, thanks.
really good.
But once again, we don't have the talent out there. I think that we have a AAA ball club out there, and it's unfortunate because I always look really forward to the Indians, and especially the start of the year. Middle of the year, I get a little down, or NFL training camp's coming up. I can't wait for that. But then towards the end of the year, I'm like, okay, playoff time, let's get it going.
Right.
But at the beginning of the year, obviously, I'm hell bent on that. But right now, once again, AAA team. Tito's top manager in the game. I get that, but even Tito can't fix this team. Yeah, with all of its glaring issues of not wanting to pay anybody.
Yeah, easy there. If the future mother-in-law, the future awesome mother-in-law, Janet Fenstermaker is watching right now. That's her. She loves Tito. She loves Tito.
Oh yeah. Who doesn't?
We were,
Yeah.
see, we were driving through downtown when we got engaged down there in between the two buildings, and they kind of know what place he stays at down there. I think it's on 9th Street or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Her and Jana know exactly where he stays. So she rolls down the window. It's cold. It is
Right.
frigid outside. She rolls down the window as she's driving. She's like, "Hey, Tito!" And we told her he's probably not there though, because he's
Might be in Arizona.
yeah, I guess he was there though, so he
cool.
may have heard.
Yeah, maybe.
Tito, if you heard, that's
Yeah.
Give Janet Fenstermaker a shout out the next time you're on. But to be realistic though, and to be honest, if the Indians are going to have any chance, it's not just Shane Bieber, it's not Jose Ramirez. The name you look at is Terry Francona.
Yeah.
I know that it's even in this situation, it's difficult for a guy like Terry Francona to, make a lot out of a little. But if there's anybody that you trust to do that in the game of baseball, it is Terry Francona.
Right.
And I'm going to be there in front of my TV watching every single game. I love watching baseball as much as they have. The league has hurt their whole marketing stuff. You look at a guy like Lindor, who, he's going to New York and he may be more marketable there, but the best guy, Mike Trout, there's people, the average sports fan, that may not recognize Mike Trout because of how bad Major League Baseball is at marketing their players. So Chris Antonetti is trying to market his team by saying Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez. We know those names. We're going to watch those games.
Yeah.
But they're lower down the list. If you can't get Frankie Lindor or Mike Trout to be recognized, so baseball has more of an issue in getting their fan base back. I'm going to be there watching every single pitch and loving every single second of it, as long as they're good enough and they can piece a AAA, AA outfield together.
Right.
But the Indians have, and as they go through this name change process too, and I know that they've taken the Indians off some of their gear already. I mean, if they're going to do anything this year, it's Terry Francona.
Yeah.
That I don't want to give more credit to one person over the team and the effort, but he's the one that sets the culture. Players will follow him, and it'll go from there. That's how the Indian season is going to be determined. I have them as a 500 team. If they're above, a little bit above, and then that wild card spot,
Right.
all the more power to you. If they're under, I won't be shocked. Especially if
Agreed.
they have issues keeping those guys in the outfield healthy. Man, I would love to have Tyler Naquin here, but another guy that just
Pass. I can't stand Tyler.
know.
I'm sorry. Like, Naquin's one of those guys to me that just like, you know what? Like, he had the inside the park home run. And like, honestly, that's the only memory that I'm like, you know what? There we go. Like, that's my only tip your hat moment.
Yeah.
Because after that, it's been nothing but borderline acceptable. You know, if you want to state that, like, I'm not calling the guy a scrub. The guy should be on a major league roster. Okay. Just not for my Indians. Sorry. They're like go to Kansas City, go and try and revive your career there
Right.
if you want. But and I wish him nothing but the best. You know, like, God bless you, Tyler Naquin.
Yeah.
But you're just not doing it for me. I'd rather give someone an opportunity, a young, hungry guy, an opportunity to see what he does compared to trying to restart that career.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a Christian Kirksey-esque year like he had like in football.
Sure.
Where wasn't necessarily healthy for us, but stays healthy for the Reds, and you see what that potential was all
Yeah.
about. Like, you see that talent out there.
Did he sign with the Reds?
I thought he did. Yeah, I think
Okay.
he did.
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
I
good
believe
luck.
he did
Yeah.
because he's down there. I think I saw that because then we were talking about Jen and I were talking about how he's going to be in Goodyear with the guys. and-
Then perfect. Hey, good luck.
I can't
God
see
bless
everybody.
him.
I can't see everybody because you're in a bubble. But
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know. While the Browns are getting good and are competing for championships, and the Cavs have won one, and things have been, Indians were going through a playoff stretch for a long time.
Yeah.
One constant, unfortunately, still in Cleveland is we still have players for all the teams that have a lot of potential, and just they're not available. They can't give us their best ability, and it's sad to see from our perspective as fans. Sometimes even more so for the guys that give back so much to the community. Leaving things there, and baseball may be an answer here for this final question, but to kind of harken back and honor our friends over at ESPN Cleveland, and just to kind of piggyback off of a question I know you guys were talking about yesterday on air, and when I heard it, I was like, man, I wish I had that idea, but we're going to borrow it. We're all friends, so we're going to borrow
That's
the
right.
idea. But I know you guys were talking about what sport you may not have played competitively, but you feel like you would have been really good to great at. So what sport, just thinking about it, you may not have played it competitively, or you didn't play it competitively.
Right.
You just played in the backyard, or, kind
Right.
of just...
This question came from Chris Oldag,
Okay.
once again, producer of The Really Big Show, and he was the host for ESPN Cleveland Overtime yesterday, which went from 9 to 11. I don't know if that's going to be the set schedule for it, but either way, his question was because he was watching a little bit of the women's Australian Open.
Okay.
And he thought to himself, he's like, he never played tennis before, but he thought, like professionally, or
Right.
in a program, but he's got the racket out a little bit. He said he has a pretty mean backhand. He's like, you know what, I think I could do this. So yeah, I mean, that's how this question all started. That being said, we're going to piggyback off of this. I want to hear. I got to hear Peter's first.
Yeah, I know, Peter.
I got to hear
Okay.
Peter. So,
So-
Peter, first off, did you play like any sports growing up, like at a fairly competitive level? Middle school up, basically.
I mean, the most I would probably say would be football.
okay.
I played in
Yeah.
high school, but I only played like my sophomore year. Long story behind that, but if
Sure.
you saw me play, I don't think you would call it competitive.
Well,
So-
we'll say football then was
Well-
competitive. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
What position, by the way?
I was a defensive tackle and
Okay.
an offensive tackle. I was
Nice.
offensive
Okay.
defense
Yeah.
line.
Play both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I was going to say like football or maybe even baseball, because what I found out when I played in my sophomore year,
Yeah.
I wear glasses, so I have
Okay.
contacts. Well, when I played football, my parents didn't have the money to get like the fancy prescription sports goggles.
Right.
So I played without my glasses. And
Okay.
I realized after I got contacts, like, football, you're a lineman. You got to hit the blob in front of you. You got to push, tackle the
right.
guy with the ball.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Now, baseball, I played rec baseball.
Yeah.
I was horrible. And
Okay.
then after I got contacts, I played just, some baseball here and there. Like
Right.
nothing.
Out with the friends.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, I realized I can see the damn ball. And I realized the problem was when I was looking, I would see it out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
And by the time it got close to me, now it was in my glasses.
Right.
And it was about a foot away from where I thought it was.
Yeah, unless you have the quickest hands in America,
Right,
you know,
right.
you're not
'Cause
hitting it.
There was a big difference between where that ball was with and without my glasses. So it's
Right.
like, I'd go out, all of a sudden I'm hitting, like, I'm making contact, I'm hitting the ball. I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. I'm like, damn.
Damn it.
If only my parents would have had a little bit of money.
Could have had that Mike Trout contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nah, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, let's go from
You
there.
guys can't see me.
The only sight guaranteed to be 2020 is hindsight.
Right.
That is true.
That is true.
That is very true.
Wow. I was thinking about this question and a few sports came to mind. When I first saw it, I guess I didn't read it carefully, but
Okay.
luckily I talked it out and realized what the question was asking, because I would have said swimming, because I actually swam, but I actually swam competitively. So like that
Okay.
takes it out. I swam until I was 14. So in my middle school years, summer, club, sea.
That's competitive.
Yeah. I think that's a sport that I gave up on too soon that I think I could have been really good at if I put in the whole year
Sure.
work on it. If I were to pick a sport that I didn't play competitively, there's actually two. Now, I'd love to say football, but if you see my frame, it was
slender frame, right?
it was even more slender back in high school and things like that. While I had the speed, guys were going to catch up to me. They were going to tackle me. So
Yeah.
I can break football film down. I can understand. I can play by play. I
Right.
can call it. I can know what each guy is responsible for, the different levels they're playing at, and talk about it, give my opinions on it here. But I don't know that I'd be very good. I'd probably deal with a lot of injuries myself.
Sure.
I wouldn't be available. I would say baseball or volleyball. Baseball because over the summer, just picking up a bat for the first time, even it was adult softball, but just kind of getting out there, and people that my in-laws have been in the baseball and softball scene for a long time, and some friends that I have been in there, and I've never really swung an actual bat before,
Okay.
and they said, the swing looks kind of natural. If I would have had time to perfect some skills and the nuances
Sure.
of the sport, the skills, I'd probably be an outfielder with my speed, top of the lineup type guy, speed around the bases.
Right.
But volleyball, because when we would do, school charity volleyball games, the guy you could go to get an ace
That was you.
from the service line,
Really? Okay.
this guy.
So like for me, for volleyball, like
Yeah.
I never had like the greatest. I'm
Mm.
a short, fat guy. Like let's just be honest. Like whenever I was serving, my serves wouldn't go super fast or be anything like that. I was telling my wife earlier, like they would literally be like this far over the net. So like no one would go at it because they're like,
Okay.
oh, it's gonna hit the net. I perfected that.
Okay.
Like I'd hit it every time, and it's like, oh, that's gonna hit the net. Don't worry about it. It's like, zoom, and it would just drop, and like everyone was like, what the? So like I'd hit an ace every single time in gym.
I had that with the overhand a little bit.
Okay,
I had
yeah.
that with the overhead a little bit. No run up to it, just kind of stand still. But there's like an action shot in my senior yearbook from high school from the teacher senior volleyball game.
Yeah.
There's like it's like perfect form and everything. But
That's awesome. You do know, and going back to the baseball real quick there
Yeah.
for you, the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a fastball or just hit
Yeah.
a ball.
Right.
Like but you think that you'd be pretty good at it.
I'd be pretty good. Like I'm not saying
Hand-eye
great,
coordination pretty solid.
pretty solid.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I know.
You need to be great at that. Yeah, for that. But yeah.
Right. I mean, if I would have, because my parents never put us in sports at all. Like my
Okay.
first competitive sport was in 6th grade playing soccer. I had
Okay.
just gone to soccer camps,
Right.
basketball camps, swam in the summer.
Yeah.
Never played baseball. I was the runner. That's my family lineage is running. I wish I would have played though, because as much as I love the sport, my grandpa kind of sitting there watching baseball games with him and loving the sport as much as I did. I wish I had an opportunity to play as a little kid to see if I could have been any good to develop those skills.
Sure.
Too late now.
Eh.
Too late now.
You never know.
I mean, adult softball, I could.
I was gonna say, and that's always a good time. That's always a fun time.
Apparently, I catch the ball weird when I'm in the outfield. That's
How do
what
you catch it?
I don't know. I'm just. That's what I've been by.
Do
That's
you
what
go like Scotty Smalls, in the Sandlot and just hold your.
I don't know. That's what I was told by
Okay.
by the fiance. That's the criticism she had.
Well, and she would of all the people.
Yes, yeah,
she would know.
She would know.
That's
she
right.
is. She knows all about softball and baseball. She
Right.
She played on the boys' teams playing baseball as long as she could, and was one of the better softball players coming out of the state of Ohio around that time.
Nice.
So
Kelly was all state at catching. She was all state. She not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah.
I always say, because obviously, if and hopefully when we have kids, if we have a little girl, I would love to have them play softball and stuff. I always joke with her. I'm like, well, she'll be a cheerleader, no softball. And like I always joke, obviously, and she gives me that exact evil eye right there. But yeah, no, so that's awesome.
Yeah, there's no cheerleaders in my family either.
Right. Whatever, and I tell this to Kelly all the time. Like, whatever the kids want to do, like as long as they want to play a sport, like I'm gonna push sports on them as much as possible. Obviously, I think that's what we all have to do.
Yeah.
But like I think team sports for children is such a huge thing. For me personally,
and a differentiation of especially when they're younger, the sports, because while if you're going to dedicate time to one, you do need to kind of focus on it year round.
Yeah,
but a lot of kids, they're pretty good athletes and they're pretty good at a lot of sports.
Yeah,
it's allowing them to kind of figure out what they really want.
Right.
It's tough when you kind of get put on one track right away versus another.
The worst thing that you could possibly do is force something on a child, because they're just going to resent you at that point.
They're going to resent you. They're going to get burnt out. And, there's some talented kids that haven't gone on to, kind of been able to meet that potential because they're burned out. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Hell yeah.
I tell my soccer parents every single time I get a new team and a new group of parents, I tell them all the time, when we get to indoor season in the winter, or even if they have other things going on in the fall too, because we're not playing at the school level just yet, even if you were in high school, play multiple sports. I'm okay with that. If we have a practice in indoor and we're not really having games and they have a game for something else, rest assured, you better go to that. I want them in other sports. I know some coaches push their sport over others. I'm one to push all sports and even other activities. It's drama, it's art, whatever these kids are passionate
whatever
about.
they want.
Allow them to experience it and don't force one angle or the other. That's
agreed.
Kids resenting you is
easy
tough.
for us to say. We don't have kids.
Yeah.
Peter's over here all quiet, like
my kids don't play sports, so they both did like the soccer. Like we tried to get them involved, and they just really didn't care for it. And they both take piano lessons. Jacob takes piano
and that's
drums.
awesome. Yeah.
So they're engaged in stuff, and it's
that's the biggest thing.
Trying to let them let them find what they want to do, because I've had interest in sports. Like I said, I played football, played poorly baseball, and but I also played music. So I was in band. I did guitar. And
I was just gonna say, like, just as long as kids are out there being kids and doing the things that it's just such a big thing in life. Like the worst thing, and I know people that were like this, that were just like, just vegetables, did nothing, like never tried anything, never wanted to do anything. And like, you're going to have, moody people and everything like that. But like, I think it's always a good thing to get out there and test the waters with something. But once again, like, you don't want to force anybody to do anything, because that's whenever you have backlash and issues and things of that sort of nature.
I do force Joseph to take piano.
Do you?
Well, here's the thing. He hates practicing.
Sure.
But he's really good at it. He knows he's really good at it, which is why he doesn't have to practice.
Yeah, a little cocky.
But then he gets, right before lesson time, he gets a little nervous because he hasn't practiced,
Yep.
and he's afraid he's going to get in trouble.
Okay.
But he does a good job, and for a while there, he was like Jacob has been playing. I don't even remember how long Jacob's been playing, but Joseph started earlier than Jacob did, and Joseph was on fire because he wanted to pass Jacob.
Okay.
He was
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
tearing
get
through
that
the book. 'cause-
brotherly rivalry.
Yeah, I mean they're almost 5 years apart in age.
Yeah.
But Joe was like, doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm gonna beat him, and he does do a good job, and he
Yeah. How'd you
does
take
well
that,
with it.
Jacob?
It's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah,
It's-
right now Jacob's turning it up through like drum lessons, so he's
That's good.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's costing me money there. His teacher's like,
Well,
there
hey,
you go.
get this new book. It might not be around for long because he's going through these things pretty fast. So
There you go.
Yeah, these philosophical conversations we could
They're-
go on. We could go on for
days. Yeah.
But just real quick, as we're kind of wrapping up,
Yeah.
what did you say yesterday? Because I know a lot
So-
of people probably tuned in, but
Yeah.
what did you say yesterday?
We had a lot of fun. Mike Rizzo said that volleyball and ostrich riding, which threw me for a loop. He said that he saw it on YouTube and he's like, I could do that.
Yeah.
It's like horse riding, but like it's like whatever jockeying.
I mean, I think
on
I
a-
saw that on Swiss Family Robinson.
Right.
That could take us down a whole nother rabbit hole. I'm gonna say is Wild Colt,
Wow.
Riz,
Oh, yeah.
Little Riz. Just stop.
I'm calling him I'm calling him Dr. Doolittle now
Okay.
because apparently he said that he like deer will come up to him and eat out of his hand and little squirrels and he had chickadees on him and I was like, dude, like you're an animal whisperer. That's what you. So I'm gonna call he is the Wild Colt. He is the Wild Colt for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick for me. I played a lot of sports growing up. And now, I mean, if you want to say competitively, like I played soccer until I was like in 8th grade. Okay. But like I played football, I played baseball, basketball. I mean, it wasn't great at any of them. Football, I was okay. I was okay at football. But that all being said, like I think I would be a phenomenal sumo wrestler. low center of gravity. My balance is impeccable. Okay, I keep saying this. I have yet to fall like slip on ice or anything like that in like 10 years. I don't fall. Right.
Right.
just knock on.
You
knock
watch
on that
him in the
wood.
parking lot.
There's
Exactly.
a lot of ice outside.
There is. But the low center of gravity, like I'm a brick house. Okay. I'm a brick house. No one can take me down. So like if we're on the mat, like, do, like I think I could take, a couple of sumo wrestlers. Now they might be like a foot taller than me, but I'm as big as they are. So I think I like my chances. The other one that we were talking about, and once again, I played soccer, but like my sister, like what you said, I think I would have been really good at soccer as a goalie.
Okay.
Like I was a great goalie growing up.
Yeah.
I only let one goal in 3 years go past me. I was really good. We were a decent team.
Brick house for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Entry music for sumo wrestling. He's a brick
House.
house.
But sumo, and then I'm gonna throw you a loop for one. I don't know if you're gonna consider it, or consider it a sport or not. But like rifles, like gun.
Yeah. I
gun
got you.
shooting. Yeah. I never knew like I've shot guns before, not a lot, but in the past. This past summer we went down to buy my car down in Florida, and he's basically my uncle. We were down at his house staying down there, and he has a boatload of rifles. I mean, he's from Florida. He's crazy down there. But so we're in his backyard, and about 40 to 60 yards out, he has all these jugs and they all have like colored water in them. And he's just like, okay, start shooting. We started off with the handguns. I'm not great with handguns. Okay. I'm not going to lie. Like, I think from like me to you, I got, okay. But like, you go to the end of the place, I'm going to miss you. Okay. But rifles, and like I understand, like, oh, you got a scope on and everything like that, but you still got to hold it straight.
Yes.
You got to be like super steady. I'm awesome. I am legit awesome. I was making fun of, telling my wife, Kelly, she was there and she was like, damn, like you're really good. My brother-in-law, Brian, said, he's like, Nick, you are like surprisingly really good. Nicest compliment he's ever said to me. like easily the nicest thing the guy has ever said in his entire life to me was, "You're pretty good with a gun." I was like, yeah, there we go. But no, I'm actually really good with a rifle. Really, like I'm so good that like I contemplated getting a rifle and just doing it for like fun. Yeah, and like because I'm not a huge gun guy, not a huge gun nut or anything like that. But I told him, I was like, whatever gun that was, whatever rifle that was, I have it written down somewhere. Like I'm gonna buy that exact gun, the exact scope, and just do target practice as much as possible. Because like I said, I can hit some targets and surprisingly well.
I shot my first gun this past weekend.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Long story short,
yeah.
We'll save this story for another day.
Okay.
Not
your finest hour?
Not my finest hour. But that's a story for another episode. If you guys want to reach out to us and let us know your the sport you feel like you could have been pretty good at but never got a chance to play competitively, or you want to let us know what's wrong with the Cavs, how would you fix them? Are you done with J.J. Watt? Are you excited for baseball? Anything we talked about tonight, reach out to us at VTL_pod on Twitter and at CLE_Paulus, at CLE_Paulus, at Kevin7, and at LPV Productions on Twitter. We'll have those conversations with you throughout the week. But that is going to wrap it up for this edition of The Voice of the Land. Thank you to Big Play Network and Dave, as always, for welcoming us into the family. And for all of you sports fans out there, please remember, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. For my brother Nick Paulus and our producer extraordinaire Peter Tellep, signing off this Sunday night, February 21st, 2021, letting you guys know we love you all 3,000, and we'll see you all next week.